Angel and company lost that game badly, so the question is how often she will shift the blame after a difficult defeat to Reese's remarks. Baze called out the entire charade, pointing out how the WNBA is so afraid of protecting their real golden goose, Caitlin Clark, that they're letting players run wild with physical play and manufactured drama. The numbers don't lie. Reese's team can't even fill half of their seats if you support Caitlin Clark, and Clark's games sell out arena. After the Chicago Sky were thoroughly destroyed by the Indiana Fever, 93-58, on May 17, Reese came forward with serious allegations about racist fan behavior directed at her during the game. She painted a picture of hostile crowds and targeted harassment that allegedly followed her throughout the season. But when you start looking at the actual evidence, her story starts to fall apart faster than the Sky's defense against Caitlin Clark. First, let's move on to the next issue, which is that after bad losses, she sometimes publicly plays the victim. First things first, let's listen to what Angel Reese has to say. If you listen to her voice and notice how she's about to cry, it's hilarious. Of course, there's no place for that in the WNBA. Let's also watch her nervous body language and twitches. Our team and organization have done a fantastic job supporting me. I've had communication from a lot of people in this league, and they've shown me that they understand that anything can happen to anyone, including me. Done a great job supporting us in this. How did it affect you on Saturday as you tried to do your job and play while this was going on? Obviously, it's difficult, but I believe that I have a great support system. I'm loved by a lot of people, so it's difficult to hear right now, but my support system is great. Reese's initial claims focused on experiencing racist harassment from Caitlin Clark fans, specifically during that crushing defeat in Indianapolis. She recounted coming across offensive remarks outside the court, implying that this was a pattern of abuse she endured as Clark's rival. The timing was intriguing, though. What do you think of the league's response to these allegations, which surfaced immediately after one of the most humiliating defeats in Sky franchise history, a game in which Clark posted a triple-double while Reese struggled to make any significant impact come to mind? Well, as I mentioned earlier, they understand that this is the priority, that there is no place for this, and that they preached 2 days prior to that there is no place for hate speech, and that the women in this league are aware of that, and that I think every player in this league deserves to be treated with respect. This is where things get messy for Reese's story. The WNBA launched a full investigation into her claims, and their findings tell a completely different story based on information from fans, teams, arena staff, and extensive video review of the league's operations. I think they've done a great job putting that out, and then we're obviously just going to respond if they need to. Damn, I really wish Angel Reese would talk and step up about all of her fans calling people all these nasty names. Oh, how blessed it is to be silent and have no one criticizing you. NBA unable to verify, quote, hateful fan comments, unquote, toward Angel Reese. Okay, so here's the league statement that was released. We have investigated the report of racist fan behavior in the vicinity of the court during the May 17, 2025 Chicago Sky at Indiana Fever game based on information gathered to date, including from relevant fans, the team, and arena staff, as well as audio and video review of the game. The official statement stated that they could not substantiate the reports of racist behavior that Reese described. Boom Skip Bias dissected Reese's story piece by piece, acknowledging that racist remarks exist on social media, saying, I don't doubt she has heard some in arenas and read a number of racist remarks on social media. However, Bias questioned the motivation and timing behind Reese's specific claims about that May 17th game, asking, why bring up these allegations right after being blown out by 35 points? The WNBA has not substantiated it, and it will continue to be vigilant in enforcing our fan code of conduct. The WNBA is and should be extremely committed to protecting its players from racist remarks made to players in the arena during games. But here's the problem with Angel Reese. After tough losses, she occasionally publicly plays the victim. Bayless also pointed out a troubling pattern with Reese. After tough losses, she would occasionally deflect blame by citing racist remarks. These claims were not supported by the league's own investigation, which I believe was extremely thorough. You're not obligated to read them. Don't allow them to imprison you. You don't have to read them. You shouldn't read them. You shouldn't let them in your psyches, he said. The message was clear. Stop using social media harassment as an excuse for bad play. Did a white fan actually yell something out of bounds at Angel after she and Caitlyn got into a fight? She jumped up because she was in the right to and tried to go at Caitlyn, but was restrained by her teammates. I don't know if anything was said. I have no way. I just have to rely on what the WNBA said, which there was no evidence, and the evidence against Reese's version of events keeps growing. Video footage from the game depicts normal crowd reactions rather than the hostile environment she described, and witness accounts from arena staff and fans don't support her claims of widespread racist behavior. The timeline doesn't add up either. If this harassment was so common and obvious, why didn't anyone else notice it during the game? Why did it only become a problem after the Sky's humiliating defeat? This looks to be manufactured drama, and Reese made up a hoax to divert attention away from her team's awful performance and her own struggles on the court. Fever just outperformed them in every way during the game, so she decided to fabricate a racial controversy that never materialized. The league looked into it, but the only thing they discovered was racist comments made about Angel on social media that evening. I'm sure some people will always be there, but should any of those comments be used as an excuse or to shift the blame after disappointing losses, especially to Caitlin Clark? I'm obviously white, so maybe I don't understand, but eventually you think, come on, Angel, not every single time. This trend of the WNBA doesn't protect its biggest moneymaker because they're afraid of their own players. Think about how absurd that sounds. You have a sophomore who changed your entire league by herself, bringing in more viewers and money than ever before, and you're too scared to give her the protection she deserves on the court. Players' behavior not only hurts Reese, but it also damages the WNBA's credibility when they act irrationally about serious issues like racism, making it harder for real victims to be believed. Additionally, the league now has to deal with the fallout from one player's attempt to rewrite history and avoid accountability for being completely outplayed by their biggest rival. Court, this isn't just bad business, it's cowardly leadership that's undermining the league's own success story. The New York Liberty, the defending WNBA champions, played a game on Saturday that was broadcast live on national TV on CBS. However, it wasn't Breanna Stewart or Sabrina Ionescu who contributed to the game's huge TV rating. Rather, it was the fact that Caitlin Clark, who became the league's biggest draw and the reason that nearly every Fever road game is now played at that city's NBA arena. Clark didn't just enter the WNBA, she took it upon herself. The numbers don't lie. When Clark plays, the arena sells out, and when she's not there, you're looking at half-empty buildings and crickets on social media. The game between the New York Liberty and Indiana Fever attracted television ratings that most WNBA games could only hope for, and everyone knows why people tune in to watch Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever, in the league's loudest and most intimidating arena, got screwed 3 times, not twice, in the final 12 seconds of a very close game, and they were obviously robbed at home. After the game, home Fever coach Stephanie White called the foul call on Lexi Hall and the no call on Bonner egregious and disrespectful, respectively. However, neither White nor Caitlin Clark addressed the no call on Caitlin's last shot attempt, likely because they've learned not to stoke the fires of resentment against Caitlin Clark any more than they already are. This is where the league reveals its true colors, as instead of protecting their cash cow, they're afraid of what veteran players might think if Clark receives preferential treatment. Skip Biss did a great job of pointing out that the league fears a player revolt against Clark. Referees' handling of her games is sending the message that players can rough her up without facing any repercussions. The Liberty Fever game ended in 3 very late calls, all of which went against Caitlin's team, the home team, in the loudest and most intimidating arena. The Pacers received those calls, not the Fever. So help me out here. With 12 seconds remaining, Caitlin Clark made an incredible bounce pass through heavy traffic in the lane, just a wizard pass to Dana Bonner, who looked to be tackled as she shot, not a block shot, just rammed, no call. Examples from the Fever's game against the New York Liberty Biz highlighted 3 crucial late game calls against Indiana, despite the fact that they were playing at home. These weren't borderline situations, they were clear-cut calls that any other star player would receive, but Clark isn't given that protection because the league is too afraid to grant it to her. On the other hand, the Fever's Lexi Hall did a great job of simply staying right with Sabrina as she drove to her left and didn't seem to make any significant body contact with her. With 2 seconds remaining, Lexi Hall was given a hand foul. The Fever did have a challenge left, so I tweeted right away, challenge. Sabrina, who had just missed 2 free throws, stepped to the line and made both of these New York up to go. Sabrina Biss demonstrated how excessive physicality is inflicted on Clark without proper consequences from referees. Defenders can be overly aggressive toward her, and officials just let it slide. However, the Fever, who I didn't know at the time, had no timeouts left to use that challenge. No challenge, and Sabrina Biss acknowledged that this isn't typical basketball.